So many of us are so bad at asking for help, myself at the very front of the line. I have been hyper independent my whole life. I have always, just sort of wanted to figure everything out myself and have really struggled to learn how to ask for help because I really like to figure it out on my own.
Welcome to the Write Your Own Story podcast. I'm your host, Betsy Leonidas, and the founder of the Write Your Own Story company. Girl, I can tell you right now, you are definitely enough. Here we value service, sisterhood, connection, laughter, and that super genuine, keep it real, tell you like it is honesty. My hope is at the end of each episode, you realize you can do whatever it is you dream about and that you are not alone with what you struggle with. I'm hoping that you are snapping and clapping and hell yes in your way through each one of these episodes. So if this tracks with you, let's get started. I'm so glad you're here.
Welcome to episode number 2 of the Write Your Own Story podcast. I'm Betsy Leonidas, your host, and I am so excited to be here for another solo episode. This episode is titled A Letter to My Sisters. I can promise you that you're going to at least want to send this episode, if not text your best friend, thanking her for loving you the way that she does. This episode really means so much to me because I journal a ton and like every morning religiously. And this feels so vulnerable to share, but I wanted to share one of my journal entries. I got divorced 2.5 years ago, and divorce, as it is for everyone, is absolutely life-changing. And, as I was struggling, it was the community of women that absolutely lifted me up and carried me through my hard time. So, gosh, I wrote them a thank you letter, I guess at least 1.5 years ago. But anyway, I wanted to share because, I think for a couple of reasons. One, I think the experience was absolutely profound for me. I would not have been able to survive in the way that I did without the help of the community that surrounded me. I know everyone who goes through divorce or through a hard time feels that way, but I would not have received the help that I did receive if I hadn't been brave enough to ask for help. So many of us are so bad at asking for help, myself at the very front of the line. I have been hyper independent my whole life. I have always, just sort of wanted to figure everything out myself and have really struggled to learn how to ask for help because I really like to figure it out on my own. But this was one of those moments where I knew that my kids and I needed help. So I raised my hand and asked my community to just, if you could help us out. And it was unbelievable how everyone came forward. So first things first, I want to highlight the fact that what can happen when women actually ask for help. The other reason I want to share this journal entry is because I feel like, some of us, myself often included, can't really find the words to be able to say thank you for those who have helped us. And I'm hoping that this episode could maybe be those words for you if you needed to say thank you for a friend for helping you through a hard time. Or if not, hopefully we'll at least encourage you to send the text and just say, hey, you were a helper. I can't tell you how much it meant to me. And then third, I really hope that this inspires people to be helpers. So there's so many times where there are people sort of in our atmosphere that are struggling because life is like that, right? So I think so many of us, myself, again, very much included, especially if they're not like your best friend, don't know how to help, don't want to overstep, don't want to bring attention to what's going on in their life and make them feel worse. But I can assure you that even just a text or to send a card or to drop something off, it's like, it will absolutely change the trajectory of someone's day. So hopefully this letter can help, bring an example to those 3 things. But most importantly, thank you to my sisters. I was not born with a sister. I am fortunate enough to have one, my sister-in-law, but this is a letter to my sisters who are out there, not by birth, but man, oh man, you guys are like family. So, oh boy, here it goes. Let me pull it up on my computer because I want to read it. Dear sisters, there I was, laying alone on my kitchen floor, which what felt like for the 100th time. I was too exhausted to sit, let alone stand. Everything just felt too heavy. Life was too much. See, the kitchen floor has been my place ever since my seemingly perfect 13-year marriage ended in a flash explosion. Whew, I didn't see that one coming. Or at least I wouldn't let myself see it. It's now where I sit and cry or sometimes just lay when life gets too heavy and I just can't stand any longer. But then something magical would happen. My phone would go ping, and it was one of you. It was all of you checking on me all day, every day. And just like that, I would get back up on my feet and keep going. I can't help but think, what if I had kept the pain to myself? What if I hadn't raised my hand and said, please help? I need you. My kids need you. Because let me tell you, when women hear another woman cry for help, it's like a herd of powerful lions, mine with gorgeous beach-waved hair and strong brow game, charging to the rescue. You guys showed up over and over and over again. You showed up at my doorstep. You dropped off food. You drove my kids. You got my kids off the bus. You took them to play dates. You took them to tryouts and cheered for them like they were your own. You all prepped breakfast and lunch and snacks and dinners. You texted me every single day, met me for walks, took me to lunch, sat in my kitchen for countless cups of coffee, scheduled girls' drinks, and dropped off wine. So much wine. Bless you. You clapped for me with every step forward, gave me a gentle nudge every time I stumbled, and have prayed for me and my family every single step of the way. If anyone's looking for how to help someone we're in the middle of a life-changing event, this is the model. Your kindness, love, and generosity has truly changed me. I've said it a million times and I'm never going to stop saying it. I felt so deeply loved in a time where I felt like I wasn't worth loving at all. Sister Lions, yes, you with the beach waves and the good brows. You will never know how profound your effect was on my life. I would get back up every single time. Yes, because I'm strong enough to do it, but because I also knew I could do it because of you. You all holding me up gave me the space to find myself again, to love myself in a way I never have before, and to find courage and to find peace and to find the grace to live life unapologetically, ungracefully. I'm never going back. In the scariest moments of untangling my marriage and rebuilding my life brick by brick, I would ask myself, what would make you proud? I think of my daughter and how I'd want her to show up, and I think of my sons and what's the right example to set. Then I puff out my chest like a goddamn queen, because that's exactly what we are, and I would keep going. Women are survivors. We get knocked down over and over and over again. But when we have a strong group of women standing behind us, fueling us with love and the nudges and shoves and hugs to keep us moving forward, we can do absolutely anything. So thank you for the greatest life lesson of love and kindness. I was never alone. That's the beauty of sisterhood. We all have hard moments in life, feelings of doubt, and live life in various versions of fear. So if you're suffering in silence, even in the slightest, please know my vulnerability was the greatest gift I could ever give myself, because it opened my world to an immense amount of love. We're all worthy of this kind of love, no matter how much of a hot mess of express our train is. Lady Lions, I love you more than you will ever know. You all have absolutely left my world better than I found it, and I will never be able to thank you enough. With endless love and gratitude. Love, Bets. There you have it. You are the reason that I started this business. I want to pay forward the love and the endless support I received when I needed it. I want to pour those gifts back into the universe because the world deserves it. So I hope, let me just take a breather for a minute after that, because, it's been a long time since I got divorced, and it really feels far away at this point. And whether it's divorce or a life-changing event, the level of despair that anyone going through it on either side feels is immense. And it's just support systems are everything. Sisterhood is everything. Community is everything. And so I think truly, it is one of the most profound things that I have ever been through, because it taught me how to ask for help and showed me absolutely what can come from that. I also hope that you can see in my story that because of the work that I did, because I want to make sure that all of us who go through hard times give ourselves enough credit for what we've been through and how we've healed and how we took care of ourselves. But between the work that I did and the community absolutely supporting myself, I let myself rest for probably the first time in my whole entire life. It's like we come from such a culture of just push, push, push. And I couldn't anymore. I was literally laying on the kitchen floor, just deeply exhausted. And that's where I would rest or cry or whatever I needed at the moment. But with those little moments of rest and then those nudges from the rest of my community to be like, okay, girl, get up. You got this. That's exactly what I did. The other thing I want to point out from this is that all it takes is a text. I know that we're all so genuinely busy. But that's all it takes. It's just one ping on your phone that just says, thinking of you, you've got this. And I was literally back up on my feet, where before I literally couldn't carry my own body weight. That's all it took. So if you think, oh, I don't want to bother them, et cetera, just send the text. I promise you, it makes a world of difference. And the last thing that I really, 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 really wanted to highlight is that there's nothing more powerful than women helping women. I'm just, don't mess with women, We just know what to do. We know how to help. We love each other deeply. And I think our culture has shifted so much from that sort of like women pitting each other against each other. That didn't come out gracefully, but you know what I'm trying to say, especially in the corporate world, right? We were all sort of fighting each other. And now I feel like women are genuinely rooting for each other, and vulnerability is finally welcome. And I have seen the endless gifts that have come from raising my hand. And I've seen the most incredible acts of love and kindness come my way. And so I just want to highlight that don't doubt the impact that you have on other people. So I don't know. Okay. I think that's really where I can wrap this one up. I'm sure this was a short one too. I got to take my kids to the doctor. You know how it goes around here. It's December. It's what we're doing. But promise me this, guys. Promise me, one, you will ask for help if you need it. It's big or small. Just promise. You'll ask for help. I swear someone wants to. Helping makes people feel good. Two, that you will text your bestie and just say, hey, thanks for loving me the way that you do. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your effort. If you feel like sharing this episode because it rings true for how they love you, please share it. It would mean the world to be able to help you carry that message. And three, be a helper. Just get on out there. And if someone, even in your distant community, just send them a ping on social or on text and tell them that you love them and that you're rooting for them, because guys, it literally changes people's lives. Okay, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for, everything that you've done for me. For those girls who are in my corner, there's so many of you. And even if you might think that you're one of these people that I'm thinking about, I promise you are. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me get to where I am. I am so happy in life, and I couldn't have done it without the love and support of my sisterhood. So thanks, guys. I hope everyone has an awesome day, and tell your bestie you love them.
Well, that's the end of this episode, but promise me, you won't stop here with whatever it is you're feeling or dreaming about. I hope you leave today feeling empowered to live life just as you see fit. If this podcast was helpful to you, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review on whatever platform you're listening on. I genuinely just want to help women live the life they dream about. So if this type of content tracks with you, subscribe to this podcast or visit our website, writeyourownsstory.co, to download digital courses or to grab a journal and a mug to just dream in and dream with. It's your life, lady. Do you. And just remember, I'm rooting for you, and you've totally got this.